we can get started. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining our Changing Healthcare with Digital Solutions Allergy Partners journey to modernizing patient estimation. If you're new and joining us here today, we are Imperium Dynamics, a proud Microsoft partner based in downtown Chicago, dedicated to bringing your vision to life within the Microsoft stack. We aim to help organizations of all sizes achieve digital transformation by solving complex problems and delivering long-lasting impact through the Microsoft Cloud solutions with a focus on increasing both the capabilities of people and the performance of businesses. Here is a quick overview of our agenda today, where we will be discussing Allergy Partners, challenges and solutions, as well as showcasing Imperium Health Cloud, and then Allergy Partners testimonial, their key results, plus more, and then as well as finishing off with a Q&A. But before that, a few housekeeping items. The session is being recorded. After the webinar is over, you can access the recording via our website. So feel free to revisit it or share it with your colleagues. There will be a Q&A session at the end, so please feel free to submit your questions throughout the presentation using the Q&A chat feature, and we'll address as many as possible. We'll also be sharing a copy of today's slide deck after the session via our website in the webinar page, so you don't have to worry about taking detailed notes. And I am super excited to introduce Director of Application Services at Allergy Partners, Cody Proctor. Welcome, Cody. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So again, my name is Cody Proctor, Director of Application Services for Allergy Partners. I have been a part of Allergy Partners for 14 years. I've been in the healthcare space that long as well. Starting off as a medical assistant, trying to find my way into healthcare, and I had a passion to also work with IT as well. And so by utilizing both my care for patients and love for IT, I decided to move into the corporate office to try to get myself into a systems position. So I'm in our systems and growth department, and I am over a team of analysts and others that work on our current systems and help develop solutions like we're going to talk about today.
Hello, sorry. Let's see. So, Cody, for those who might not be as acquainted with Allergy Partners, would you mind giving an overview of your company and industry?
Yeah, definitely. So Allergy Partners has been around a long time, about 45 years. So we are the nation's largest premier network of allergists and immunologists, and really for us, we carry that with pride. We work to deliver the best standard of care. We're constantly working to improve our craft. A lot of people, when they think about allergists, they think about, okay, my nose is running, I go in. But, we treat different severities of allergies, with different severities of asthma, with immunology being a big part of it as well, treating, different kinds of diseases, and also things you would never think of, like, especially as I've learned in this space, even some derm issues that happen to be allergic. So a big broad treatment, scope there for us, which is great. I love being part of the healthcare industry, and, our company size is amazing. We've grown so much over time, and we continue to need and want to grow.
Awesome, thank you. So we implemented a patient estimation solution for you built on Power Apps. Could you shed some light on the challenges that you were facing that led to this need?
Yeah, definitely. A couple of the challenges that we experienced were just, workflow related and technology related. So we definitely we came to a point in time where we just couldn't keep up with the solution we had implemented, and we really needed something different. We needed to be able to provide this estimation to our patients faster and be able to maintain the back end a lot better as well.
Yeah, thank you. And then just to point out there, the main objective here was to migrate the patient estimation to two Power Apps to support process standardization across all locations. And then in terms of departments, Cody, we heard that the front office team was spending too much time. Your support center felt that they could be making more money or leaving more money on the table, and your center of excellence process needed to be streamlined and managed more efficiently. So, what were these departments going through in more detail?
Yeah, definitely. So as a solution originally was presented for patient estimation, because nobody likes surprise bills, right? So we try to get as accurate as possible. The original solution was like an Excel database to help manage the contracts and manage the updates of the actual estimator form, and then just like a fancy Excel workbook that was per location or per like main practice, and that just became so hard. We'd have to send out email updates all the time to our front office staff. They would have to ensure they had the latest version. Sometimes they would find an old version on the desktop, open it up, and it just was outdated. The contract rates weren't right. And so it was very difficult to sustain that across all of our locations. So, it causes burnout not just for our front office staff, but our patients see it too because they lose trust, right? Our support center, we were struggling with what possibilities do we have, what technologies can we use, or how can we make this better. And so, again, talking about leaving money on the table, if we can't update efficiently and effectively, we could be misquoting, which also, again, patients lose trust because they said you told me it was going to be $500 and it was 1,200. So that's not a surprise anybody wants.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. And then in terms of the solutions provided by Imperium Dynamics from a more broadened standpoint were that we installed our Imperium Health Cloud Core solution and created a custom patient liability estimation tool. We also provided a unified patient data management and compliance tracking across locations. We automated appointment scheduling, billing patients, and generated reports. And then we also use Power BI dashboards for real-time insights for patient estimation. We created custom security roles and configured to ensure authorized access, as well as real-time visibility and control over contract updates. And then at the bottom there, you can see that we also integrated Athena One to automate data population, which we get further into, but because of these solutions. You can see on the quote over there that Cody provided that Allergy Partners can update contracts in 1 hour instead of five now. So because of all these new solutions integrated, which is awesome. And then, so Allergy Partners, one of the solutions that we mentioned was that we utilized Imperium Health Cloud. And if you're not familiar with our Health Cloud solution, IHC is a cutting edge management solution driven by data. It seamlessly integrates data from EMRs like Athena One and Cerner into Microsoft business applications, offering healthcare providers an unparalleled access to critical information that can be leveraged across Power Platform, Dynamics 365, and the complete Microsoft product suite. It connects your EMR to Microsoft. It provides a unified patient profile. It serves as a multi system integration framework. It configures patient matching, and it also integrates data from multiple clinical systems to streamline analytics and reporting. So for Allergy Partners, again, we specifically implemented our Imperium Health Cloud Core module to establish that base for the solution. And this can be done for any customers who want to build a use case in Power Platform for healthcare scenarios that potentially integrate with the EMR or any other system. It saves time on adding up that healthcare structure with the Fire Data module or Healthcare Data module, and then also the integration framework. So we already have a patient matching process and all of these things to help follow industry best practices and integration best practices. So any custom scenario that you might have, we can start with the Imperium Health Cloud Core as a base. And then before we get started on another of our IHC module that we also implemented, Cody, can you give a brief overview of the challenges when it came to good faith estimation?
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges was, which happens with a lot of initiatives that come out from government entities, things like that, is you've got to implement it quickly. So we had already had patient estimation because a lot of people were starting to do that, and then good faith estimate it's came out as like a mandate to be able to have because people can opt to not send to insurance, things like that. So we wanted to make sure that with our new solution that we had something that was solid, that was reliable, dependable, and could work for us and integrate a lot better than before. So that's essentially what we got in the end result is you talked about the Athena integration, which has been big for us because one of the other challenges is the constant data entry. So normally it would seem silly to have to constantly put in the information again and again and again, right? So one of those challenges was having to constantly enter in the patient demographics each time you wanted to present an estimate, or if you need to make a modification. Being that it's an Excel file, you're not saving one per patient, so you're just closing it out, going back. The other challenge now is there's no record of, unless you're actually saving that value or saving it into the chart somewhere, you're losing that record of what you recorded. So just not a good workflow overall.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. And then in terms of the good faith estimator use case, if it sounds like something that you're struggling with, our good faith estimator module assists healthcare providers in producing precise estimates of patient liabilities. It features encompass bill charge and contract rate management, accurate patient estimation calculations, and effective dispute management to ensure up-to-date and accurate estimates. This module operates by utilizing patient, insurance, and provider details to compute estimate patient responsibilities for forthcoming appointments. Through integration with EMRs, it effortlessly retrieves patient and insurance information. It further enhances accuracy and its estimates. And this is an example of one of our off-the-shelf modules that we have a part of our Imperium Health Cloud. So this is something that can be deployed and set up really easily. And then from an architectural standpoint, because we are in Power Platform, our backend database was the Microsoft Dataverse, which is a secure Dataverse that only is in your own tenant, and it's their cloud Dataverse. And then on top of that, we deployed our Imperium Health Cloud, which includes the Health Cloud data modules and with all that pre-built tables and forms and integration framework. And then we customized it with Power Apps to make a model-driven app that covered for the estimated users, like whoever the front desk user is that are making the estimations. Then in the middle there, then we also use Power Automate to build them a PDF that they could print out and hand to their patients. And then we also did reports, and those were built in Power BI and embedded within the application. So from the visual standpoint, that was the overall structure that we implemented for Allergy Partners. And in terms of the Imperium Health Cloud and our modules, Cody, can you please give a brief testimonial of how it helped Allergy Partners be more efficient in your processes?
Yeah, definitely. So, as you saw on the slide before, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle to put it all together, but in its simplicity, it's very seamless, which is what we love. So, we go in, we go to our web URL that's in our tenant, like mentioned before, and everything's right there. So the first thing we land on is our reporting, which is amazing. It gives us we finally have insights into what insurance we're doing quotes for, what CPT codes we're quoting for, how much and how often. So there's a lot of insights there. And then because of our security layer and being able to use our existing security groups that, are like per location or per practice location, we can go in and have our front desk only see what pertains to their office. And then on a regional manager level, they can see everything on that. They can see all their offices encompassed. And then at the support center level, we have visualization over the whole, which has been amazing. The biggest thing here is that we can go in and we even the help front desk people or support center, we can go in and create these estimates with ease. That's the biggest thing there is because of the integration with Athena, the demographics are preloaded. They're updated as soon as there's an update to the demographics. So it's not a one-time thing. The other thing too is that the contract management's been a lot better because we can take and import and update a bunch of data all at one time, which has been amazing. So we now have a functional backend that we can maintain and manage going forward. And then finally, just being able to create the estimates themselves. It's just adding a few codes, choosing the right insurance, and having or verifying the right insurance, and then clicking a button that generates that beautiful PDF. And it's organized. It makes sense. The patients have been loving it because they can take it home and they can have a backup of what I said. Oh, because you're not going to remember a conversation in person all the time, but they have some backup documentation. Take home, think about it. Maybe even they say, "Oh, this looks great. Let's move forward." So just a lot of benefits there. You don't have a front office person scrambling to get it done in time, and it's just overall a better feeling, a better experience on both sides.
Amazing, thank you. Those are really great insights. So, in terms of the healthcare industry, as you know, your use case is just an example of the common challenges that the healthcare industry faces with lots of data silos, legacy system problems, security, and complex processes. And on the left there, we have some data that says that the average US hospitals have 300 to 400 IT systems, which can be quite a lot. So, how do you think that Power Platform can bridge that gap?
Yes. So we basically had the introduction to Power Apps because of this need that we have for the patient estimation, and through seeing that, and also seeing the Imperium Health Cloud Core, where like this is actually the basis that could lead to many other projects that we want to do. I see legacy systems right there in the middle. That's a big one for us. We onboard practices that want to join Allergy Partners, and we're left with housing their old electronic health record system indefinitely sometimes. And so, kind of one of the projects that we've been discussing that we'd like to look at in the future is how do we integrate that data and maybe get away from having, the 4 to 500 or 3 to 400 legacy systems all the time, and bring that finally together in one. So we just from the, like I said, the one project, we can see the power of Power Apps and truly what we can achieve.
Amazing, yeah, thank you. And if this sounds like an amazing journey and that you would also like to be part of and take on, but it seems to be quite a lot, you can always elevate your automation journey with Imperium Dynamics and our co-managed services. So we know managing your systems and tools can be stressful and demand a lot of your detailed time, which is why Imperium Dynamics created its co-managed services for Power Platform. Our goal is to provide you with comprehensive support and to ensure your system operates smoothly and efficiently. With our co-managed services, you benefit from tri-weekly alignment reviews and monthly platform strategy and goal calls, which include project scoping, where we will define the scope of your project, deployment planning, technical reviews, where our experts will conduct thorough reviews of your system's technical aspects and identify issues, citizen development, supporting your internal team and developing solutions, as well as training your team on these new solutions, and the integration design, where we will design and integrate your system with other systems, ensuring a unified and efficient tech ecosystem. With our co-managed services, you gain access to expert guidance, streamlined governance, and additional resources that complement your existing efforts. We help ensure your Power Platform operates at a peak performance and allow you to focus on what you do best, driving your business forward. And Cody, Allergy Partners actually did obtain our co-managed services for additional expertise on this. So can you share how that went and how that was able to add an extra boost into your processes and solutions?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking when you first started talking about the co-managed services, kind of what the offerings were. So I think it's important to note that regardless if you choose co-managed services or not, as you take your journey with Imperium Dynamics, from the very get-go, you get top of the line service. So our initial engagement gave us, we had a beautiful presentation that what that basically repeated exactly what we needed. We had all the budget stuff, which was great. And then going forward, after selecting the co-managed services, we saw that continued support, which is we get to address issues one on one. We can look at things that come up. It's like, oh, you know what, we want to make this change. We're not really sure what that looks like, but here's our ideas. And so you get that almost like you're part of the team. You get that approach where you feel like you're able to make the decisions together, and it's not something that's just pushed to you. You're really listened to. And I say that because that's been my experience the whole time. Work very closely with the team because we are trying to still refine some of our processes, refine some of the things we want, and you get expertise with a lens that's not in your own environment. You get a expertise from that are working with different industries as well. They were different clients, and so they see things from a different perspective and can offer opinions and solutions as well that have always met the needs.
Amazing, thank you. That was an amazing way to sum it up, by the way. So, in terms of your business outcomes, what were some key results that you saw right away, and then up to present date right now?
I think the biggest thing for us, as far as an outcome, is that we finally felt like we had a good managed solution with a good support backup, with the managed services part, right? So for us, we no longer had to maintain housing these spreadsheets and this outdated solution that nobody could trust anymore. And then also with just the reporting, it got our practices exposed to Power BI reporting, which was amazing because we use it now more in our daily lives. We see a lot more insights into our organization by utilizing these tools, as well as again, the probably one of the biggest ones that was we needed to solve for was the back end part. Again, with that managed care contracting, being able to look at the contracts, keep them updated, that was probably the biggest pain point. I know the front office had their issues and whatnot with being able to create the estimates, but a lot of work went in the back end to keep those updated. So holistically, it was covering so many bases all at once, and I think that alone was worth it. Instead of taking weeks or months to get updates now, it's so fast and so much more reliable.
Great, amazing. Thank you. Those are great updates and great results. And now bringing it back to our Imperium Health Cloud in IHC, we have a lot of different Health Cloud off-the-shelf modules to serve different challenges. For example, one is our AI capability, AI assistant module for Athena customers, where we have an embedded AI assistant within the EMR that allows a nurse or a physician to chat with the patient record and get summaries of the data and ask questions about the patient's medical history before the appointment. And we know a lot of organizations struggle with referral leakage, so our care journeys module actually helps you to target the right patient and help them close that loop. Then we also have our patient reported outcome measures one, aka prompts, for anyone looking to do patient satisfaction, prompt surveys, employee satisfaction, and more, that we can automate a lot of that and digitize it, along with our other great modules that you can see here that also serve off a great off the shelf quick and easy solution. So we have now arrived at the Q&A section of this webinar, so please feel free to ask any questions and we can help answer those. Okay, one of the questions that we had is, how did you find Imperium Dynamics and what stood out from the rest of the competitors?
I do like this question because it allows me to kind of give the truth about our journey. So when when we came to the point where we needed help, we reached out to our Microsoft account people and said, "Hey, we have this issue, and also Cody over here has been exploring some possible solutions, and he's heard about the Power Platform, but doesn't really know too much about it, and we'd like to see like explore that because we think it's going to work for what we need. We need something that we're not going to be building from scratch in Visual Studio and things like that. We need something that's kind of easy to put together. So Microsoft went and found us some partners that did work with Power Apps and the Power Platform, and we were presented with some options. And after meeting with Imperium Dynamics, the biggest thing that sold us was you could tell from the get-go the expertise was there. And then the other thing too was the presentation. Like I mentioned before, everything was laid out very well. We had a scope that would tell us, this is your timeline, this is how fast we can deploy, and this is what we're thinking, this is what the development time is, this is training. It was all beautifully laid out, which is what we're hoping for. And then also there was talks immediately about how they're going to budget it. They knew what the hours were going to take. They knew all those pieces. And so it just gave us the confidence that we were working with a vendor that truly knew what they were doing and could deliver. And that's exactly what we got. So that's basically how they won our vote.
Amazing. Thank you. So then, how, or in terms of what were the main goals of this partnership when it came to what we all wanted to accomplish?
Yeah, I think one of the main goals was actually speed of turnaround. Now, this project, if we, being Allergy Partners, had followed the timeline the way that Imperium Dynamics had presented, we would have had it as fast as we had asked for. What we discovered when we got into this is that we wanted even more customization and probably nitpicking a little more. So within testing and verifying and stuff, we drug the timeline out. But as far as being able to turn around the solution to say, hey, this is what we have for you, Imperium Dynamics did it within the time they quoted, which was amazing. But just wanted to throw that out there because sometimes it may vary, and a lot of times it's the client. So we take blame.
Yeah, and actually that's great. One of the questions that they had for me is what's the deployment time frame for IHC? And any module can be deployed and set up as little as 2 weeks. So that's great information to have out there. And then in terms of the tools, how did Power Automate and user permission management custom tool help your workflow?
Yeah, so this is actually this is really great. So we already in our environment through Active Directory, we had our security groups, and our security groups, there's always a ton, but there's always a main one per practice because there's varying solutions and things that have to be locked down because even though we are all one practice, there's also things that are different between each group. So when it comes to our like big picture and looking at how we're going to manage that, when we saw the security groups could be integrated, we're like, this is perfect. It's going to help us out. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. And so our contracts, we can still lock the contracts down per location because they are going to vary between region and location and things like that. So it all integrated very nicely. The Power Automate's been great because that's what allowed us to do the integration with our demographics and our scheduling piece. So our schedulers, it's going back and looking at our schedule days ahead and pulling in those patients. We didn't want the entire universe of patients in the Dataverse because not everyone's going to need an estimate. So we know that scheduled patients typically will need one. And if there's an on-demand record, they can also put in an ID and pull in an on-demand upload as well, which is great. So that's some of the things that of those tools that are really helpful. And on top of that, I think it's also important that we didn't touch on too well is the center of excellence. So that piece of the puzzle as well is really great for the organization. It doesn't matter what solution you have out there. It's looking at your environment as a whole and helping you manage and maintain a myriad of things. So you're looking at who's trying to be a citizen developer, who's creating stuff in your account, how locked down or secure is your environment in like for your users, things like that. So once you have anything from Power Apps engaged, I always recommend Center of Excellence now because it's the one way that an admin can truly take a look at the whole tenant and make sure that it's performing the way you need to. Also, it gives you good insights into who's using the apps you're putting out there. If there's let's say we did like you have a patient matching app. Let's say the patient matching app wasn't getting utilized like we thought. Gives you a chance to figure out why, or maybe push it harder, or say maybe we need to retire it. So I think those are some good things to look for as well. You might be muted, Brittany. Sorry.
Hello. Oh, sorry. I was muted. My mic wasn't working. Thank you so much for joining our Changing Healthcare with Digital Solutions Allergy Partners journey to modernizing patient estimation. In this webinar, we explored Allergies Partners' modernization journey to a faster and more efficient process. We also learned how Imperium Dynamics was able to provide multiple solutions to enhance their processes. We hope that you have received valuable insights within the healthcare industry. By partnering with Imperium Dynamics, you gain access to innovative solutions that address your challenges head on. Thank you so much, Cody, for joining me here today and to chat about Allergies Partners challenges and solutions. And we can't wait to see Allergies Partners keep leading in allergy, asthma, and immunology care. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.